Hey everyone, it's Twyla. Let's do part 2 of this thing. So I said in the first part that I would show you guys this little letter that I wrote my inner child this time last year. Was it this time last year? Sorry, it was actually kind of this time 2 years ago. That's another symptom of trauma. It's just a very, very poor sense of time. But anywho, it's been a while and I haven't read it since. So this is going to be very interesting. I'm sorry if I get emotional, but I'm just challenging you to, swap out my name with yours. Little so-and-so, and I'm sorry if this, she's licking her paw. She broke one of her nails. So sorry if you can hear that. That's literally like the most atrocious noise. I'm sorry to be in the background of it. Should I redo this? I don't know. I really don't want to, but so we're just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna pet her so she can't lick her little paw. She shouldn't be licking it anyways, but yeah, so please just replace that if you would like. I'm sorry if this seems cheesy. Please just try your best to remove all the societal conditioning that tells you that this is cringe, because it is kind of cringe. You're gonna feel like it's cringe because we're all brainwashed to think it's cringe, but this is vulnerability. That's what it looks like. And badass women, badass men, badass people have that. Men and women have to harness it differently. But I think that women, one of our greatest powers is we can step into that and it becomes a superpower. So it's gonna seem like it's cringe, it's gonna seem like it's cheesy, but so dear little so-and-so, this is a picture of me when I was actually enjoying myself. Pardon, San Pellegrino. Because the last ones I didn't look like a very happy camper, which I didn't in most of my pictures, but this one I do. I was often really happy when I was on a boat, or I spent a lot of time on the water, by the water. When I was younger, did it focus? I don't know. I don't want the dang video to not turn out because it was not in focus. But anywho, so that's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to little Twyla. I think that it would be really cool if you could find a picture real quick of your little self, either on your phone or better, I think if it's physical. I have a weird sentimental attachment. I mean, not weird, but just seems like it's a bit more uncommon these days. But yeah, so let's get into it. Dear little, so-and-so, I'm gonna say Twyla, but please replace it. Better if you can read it to a little picture of yourself. So here we go. It's gonna be kind of heavy. I remember crying and crying and crying while I was writing it, so just be prepared. Dear little Twyla, I'm sorry you didn't get what you needed. I'm sorry you had to see those things. I'm sorry you had to feel those things alone. I'm sorry you were punished or laughed at for crying. I'm reading it slow so these things can sink in for me and for you. We're doing this together, okay? Let me hug you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for doing this work. It's not easy. It's some of the hardest fucking work out there. And no one will see it. And you're rarely gonna get credit for it. But the way that you get credit is you don't destroy other people's lives. So I think that it's worth it, because if you don't do this work, people are out there destroying each other. You know that. You've probably been destroyed by a couple people at least. I've been destroyed by close to a dozen now. Just in my adult life in a romantic way, let alone all the stuff from childhood. But let's get back into it. I'm sorry you were punished or laughed at for crying. I'm sorry those teachers yelled at you. You're not stupid. You do understand. You understand a lot more than most. And this is where it gets heavy. I'd tell you it's going to be okay, but it's not. Ooh, I remember writing this now. It was right before my 27th birthday when I told my whole family I was suicidal. I wrote this when I was going through it. I had just gone through my second divorce. I moved across the country. I lost my snakes, which it was a weird maternal thing that I had over them. And I dreamt about them for months, and whenever I dream about them now, I wake up crying. And it sounds silly, but I was really going through it when I wrote this, so please, just, things have gotten better since. But it says, I tell you, I tell you it's going to be okay, but it's not. But you are so beautiful, and you are so precious, and your feelings matter. And I think what I meant by, I'd tell you it's going to be okay, but it's not. Sorry, I wanted to, again, I haven't read this, so I thought I was gonna get into like a really deep, I think that was another letter I wrote my little self, but I think it's just trying to say like the generic, you know, I always felt like all the adults, or even now as an adult, like friends, people at work, like everyone across the board always says it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. People have been, I'm sorry for being discouraging, but people have been telling me that for 25 fucking years at least, since I could comprehend English. And it's very much still not okay, and it never really got better. In fact, is like my mom's death, everyone said it would get better. You know what, I miss her more now because I need her more now, and there's more consequences of her not being here for longer. So this pain, I cannot put it into words, but it has not gotten better. Okay, so don't tell people it's gonna be okay if you don't know that, and you're not the one making it okay for them. If one day I have a partner, I think I'm too traumatized for this, but if I wasn't hypothetically so traumatized, and hypothetically if so many people hadn't promised me, like husbands, partners, that it was gonna be okay, and then they ripped my life to shreds, if that didn't happen, my dream would be for someone like a partner to be able to tell me sometime that it's going to be okay and make that happen. But you know the beauty of it, you are the only person who can tell yourself it's going to be okay. Other people telling each other it's going to be okay, they're talking out their ass. What are they? It's going to be okay. That day is going to be okay. That week, that meeting, look around. It's not okay out here. And I'm going to sit here and say that it is not okay. But you are the only one that can tell yourself, where it's like makes sense to my brain and it's like appropriate in my brain to tell myself that it's going to be okay. Because I know I can make that happen. What I was getting at is like, I would think that the only other person would be like a partner who I would trust to say it's okay, because I would trust that they could make it happen. Now, I think I might be too traumatized to ever trust that again. But I'm just saying that like I used to trust my family and the adults. Fuck me, right? I used to trust the adults when I was a little tiny child. Little tiny, oh my God, like literally 3.5 feet tall, 4 feet tall. I'm 5 feet tall now. So I was a tiny little child in her tiny little overalls, and no one protected her. And everyone said it's gonna be okay, and then never made sure it was okay, whatever it was at the time. And now I am the only fucking one. Like, I better chill with those. I'm gonna ruin my monetization. But yeah, you are the only one that can tell yourself that, okay? So I tell you it's gonna be okay, but it's not. In other words, I'm not gonna waste your time telling you it's okay, you know? But now, since anywho, but you're so beautiful, and you're so precious, and your feelings matter. You're important. You are important. You are so sensitive and observant. Again, please feel this for yourself. Sorry I went off and talked about, I don't know why I'm apologizing for talking about myself on my own videos, on my own platform, with no F-bombs. I'm watching it. Please, if you're a bot, please let this slide. So, getting back into it, please feel this for yourself, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry for going off on little tangents, but you are so sensitive and observant. Again, little you, not you right now. You're speaking to them. You are so special. Now listen to me. You can't always believe what people say. Sometimes adults lie. Again, speaking to that inner child. Again, sometimes adults lie. Sorry for making it all like hippie woohoo, but like, come here, dude. That shit's heavy. That is heavy. It's okay to sit in that. Sometimes adults lie to us when we're little kids, and they should never do that. Ever. They should never conceal the truth. If you tell them about abuse, they should never cover it up for that person. My family has done that. They all cover each other's up. It's like this nasty, and they will pick one person to make miserable. They call that scapegoating. But I was that lucky person. And she was a little, tiny, innocent, precious girl with autism. Level 2 autism and ADHD. And then her mother died after her father already left. A father who tried to kill her multiple times. A father who abused her. I had bruises, and it was an issue with my family when I was very young. I remember hearing about that. They hushed it down, but I remember hearing that they found bruises on me from my dad punishing me a little bit too badly. And I'm not trying to get sympathy from that. I'm just saying, like, it does happen. I lived. Here I am. I don't think that caused any psychological issues, but I'm just saying, like, the point is they tried to cover it up. I remember hearing about it briefly right after it happened, and then everyone covered it up ever since. Same thing with sexual abuse, because it was from another family member, and it was multiple times. And it would be a lot of work to have to supervise me all the time to make sure that that didn't happen, so they just didn't, and it kept happening. So let's get back into this, shall we? You're talking to your inner child again. Sometimes adults lie. Adults will break promises. But that does not mean that you're not important. Feel that for yourself. See that little kid in your head, because they are inside right now. Hold them as you say this. Adults will break promises, but that does not mean that you're not important. People will leave. Get ready for this one, okay? People will leave. But that doesn't mean that they didn't want you because you lack something. In other words, like, my dad, cheated on my mom, and then he married that girl that he cheated on my mom with. It was like one of his coworkers or some shit. And he's still married to her, to my knowledge. And they had a kid together, and like he named that kid what he was gonna name me with my mom. And like all this weird stuff that I have to deal with now. And like I stumbled across all of these like broken picture frames that were like face down in the closet. And like they were just all these pictures of me and my mom and my dad from my grandparents' house. They just took them all down. And when I looked on the walls to like where those photos used to be, they were exactly frame for frame replaced with him and his new family and new kid and new wife. And my grandparents just like moved on. Like, and my mom died shortly after that, probably from heartbreak, honestly. It was cancer, but now we're learning how that all works. The body stores a lot of trauma and stress. And maybe it wasn't from my dad. Maybe it was from her sick mom. My mom's mom, that is. But either way, I think my mom, I don't know, I can't go off on a tangent, but I'm just saying, like, it's so hard not to take these things personally. I still, take that personally sometimes, if I'm honest with you. I'm cool with myself. I know I'm fucking tight. Honestly, I have a cool ass personality. I have an amazing sense of humor. I have super cool, diverse taste. I've had a lot of partners, but those partners have been also pretty cool. Yeah, our relationships didn't work out, but they have enlightened me. I've enlightened them, and I feel pretty well versed, dare I say. So I'm a cool person. And I know that now, truly. But it still creeps up every once in a while, that it was me. That's why he chose, like, my autism, my neurodivergent. I was a tricky kid. And it's very hard for me to not say that's why he left. He was like, F this, peace out, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to roll the dice again. This is not what I wanted. It's so hard for me not to feel that way in the core of my being. But I do feel like I'm starting to come out of it, but it's taken a lot of work. So people will leave, but that does not mean that they didn't want you. It's not you, okay? It's not because you lack something or aren't good enough. And then, like my mom, people will die and it will hurt, but they wanted to stay with you most of the time, unless, God forbid, a suicide or something like that. And it's really hard, guys. That happens a lot. It's very real, especially amongst young men right now, because they've been cut off from the divine feminine and they're feeling it. That's why I'm trying really hard not to play this malicious ass game that everyone's playing, withholding the divine masculine and feminine from each other and using it as like a little dangle, like on a hook, and just, you know what I mean? That's how we're using it. We're supposed to just give that to each other. It's supposed to be like a mutual exchanging, and it doesn't have to be feminine and masculine exchanging. That's not what I'm saying, but you have to find your yin to your yang. It's 2025. We're inclusive here. Truly. Like, I have nothing, So, I don't want to get too far off track, but I'm like, I don't know. Let's get back on track, I guess. I'll open that can of worms in another video. Yeah, so people will die and it will hurt, but they wanted to stay with you. You have to be kind because you never know how long you'll have them. That's what losing someone really close to us teaches us. You need to be present. Don't sweat the small stuff, no matter how badly one time my mom bought me these atrocious brown pants. Not only did I not like the color of them, but they were the scratchiest things I had ever worn. And I had a meltdown and I'm not justifying it, but in this meltdown, I said, I hate you. I said that to my mother. And that was probably like a year or two before she died. She died when I was 10. And I never forgot that, and I've healed from it because that ate me up that's the only time I said it. That's the only truly horrible thing I ever said to my mom. But I let it slip out because of the sensory overwhelm, or maybe it was just me freaking out. I didn't want to go in public like that. To me, they were the ugliest things I've ever seen. Like, I didn't want to, and I had no autonomy. It wasn't, oh, you don't feel like these pants express you? They're not comfortable for you? They really bother you? They're way too tight? Let me get you another pair. No, she forced me to, and so I felt like as a powerless child, I needed to do something very drastic to get her attention. And I remember feeling that way. Like, ooh, I want to get her good right now. And then she died, So you have to be careful. You have to be careful about that. We all have this false sense of immortality. You could go get hit by a car and that could be the end, right? You could go to the hospital and they could not bring you back. You could be driving to work tomorrow and get T-boned. You could have a tumor in your body right now that has cancer in it. And your next doctor appointment, they could tell you that you only have a few months or a few weeks or even a few days in some cases. Shit goes haywire real quick, especially like internal bleeding, yada, yada. So I'm not trying to instill fear. I'm just trying to say, why are you on your phone? Why are you playing PlayStation with her sitting right next to you? Why are you on your phone at dinner? Why are you on your phone at your kid's game? After you post it, you're just going to sit there seeing how many likes and reading all the comments when you're at that event with them. You're sick. Let's get back on track. People will die and it will hurt, but they wanted to stay with you. You have to be kind because you never know how long you'll have them. PSA. As someone who got hit in the face with mortality at a very young age, and if that's you, you're a badass. You have to be resilient because you are going to get knocked down a lot. Oof, bitch. I wrote this 2 years ago. If she only knew. And here I am. And you can too. You will get knocked down a lot. And there won't be anyone to help you up most of the time. That's something that we really have to take. We have to swallow that one. It's a tough pill to swallow. But sometimes there's not going to be anyone to help you up. No one is going to see your pain or wipe your tears. And again, going back to that inner child, but I saw your pain. Big Twyla to little Twyla. You know, you speaking to that inner child right now, you need to tell them, I saw your pain. I felt your pain. I wiped your tears with my own hands. I've got you now. I've got her, and they can't fuck with her anymore. I've got you now, and I'm always holding you. Always. And I'm talking to her right now because I can see her. And I see little Twyla's face and big Twyla's face right here. I've got you now. I'm always holding you. Always. It's always going to hurt, but you have to protect yourself. Hold yourself. Rock yourself to sleep. Sing to yourself. Soothe yourself. You can do that because you have to do it. Don't let other people tell you who you are. I wrote this 2 years ago, so help me God. If I let any of you, I think I ran out of F-bombs. Probably for the best. I'm not going to let any of you tell me who I am. I will take all of your criticism. I will have you all spitting in my face, aside from the few that gave me about 40 or 50 bucks. I made double that in a 20-minute phone call yesterday. Okay, so I'm not trying to invalidate, but I'm just saying, like, guys, I needed a little more help from that. Unfortunately, now I'm getting help in a way more accessible place. But it's not safe, and it's not where I wanted to ever be. But you can do it, because you have to do it. Sometimes we have to, point being, sometimes we have to do shit we don't want to do. And we got to be a strong bitch about it. I'm going to get this taken down. Don't let other people tell you who you are. Don't let other people tell you how to feel either. I'm pissed off right now. I got a rage, a fire inside of me that is keeping this channel afloat, in fact. You don't know how bad. I just want to give up because I'm like, oh, these people, they're not going to receive the message. Screw that. There are people who are receiving this message. I get sweet comments every single day of how it's impacted you. And those mean so much to me. Twyla, I see you. And I say, thank God. Literally, I thank God when things like that happen. This has been such a spiritual experience for me. But no one can take your feelings from you. But they're going to try. They're going to try. Never second guess yourself. You're not stupid. You're not too loud. You're perfect because you're you. You're not meant to be like everyone else. You're not. You're meant to be so much greater than that. And I'm not calling them not great, but your greatness that you have to rise into is yours. It looks like what it's supposed to for you. Your desires, chase that. This rage, this fire, in a weird way, it guides me where I'm supposed to go. And now it makes me walk away from people who are going to harm me. Or when people do harm me, I can walk away now. Before, I would start apologizing and I would assume it was me. Oh, this person, that's how I've been traumatized. We do that. It's not us a lot of the time. Pardon, I caution you, we all have to have self-awareness. So sometimes it is us, but you have to know who you're supposed to be and you have to stand in that. And that is not an easy thing to do. It's simple, but it is not easy. You are not meant to be like everyone else. And let's get through this and then we'll wrap it up. I won't talk as much in this one, but you need to let this one's not as much lore behind it. The second page. So I'll stay on track. I promise if you can stay with me, but please, please, please. This is the super important part that you need to visualize that inner child because this is the more positive. So we felt what we've been through. We looked at it. I gave you some personal examples of what that looks like in my life so you can kind of start to break that down for yourself. This is 2 years in. I can speak about it like this, but I could not, even months after having this realization that I was so abused and I was autistic and blah, blah, blah. It took me months to even be able to, process it like a grown-ass adult, just like it is what it is, because there was so much pain behind it. But now I can. And so now, we have to acknowledge it. We have to feel it. Take your time. I don't know if I'm throwing this at you too soon. I'm just going to put it all in one video, because who knows where different people are in their recovery journey. If that was enough for you, please, bookmark this at about 25 minutes and pick back up, where we left off. After you go process through that, even if it's in a few days, come back to this part. We're going to get into more like positive talk to ourselves. That was more validating the pain that we've gone through. Second page says, again, visualizing that inner child, please. I'm proud of you. I know it sounds cheesy, I know, cringe. I'm proud of you. You didn't have to get up today, yesterday, the last thousands and thousands of days you got up and did this shit. I'm proud of you. I don't care how you did it. I don't care how much you got done. I don't care what you accomplished in whoever's eyes. You did it, and I'm proud of you. And you're watching this video. Your little body's keeping itself going. You're breathing by itself. Or your body's breathing by itself. Your heart's pumping. It's doing its job. I am proud of you. You didn't give up yet. That's so much. Go get yourself a sweet treat. I am prescribing it. Not that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, but next time you're at the grocery store, or maybe next order, put in a little sweet treat. You worked for it. And don't tell yourself that toxic ass, that came from your family, that's not yours. Get it? That's not the sound effect that makes when you throw something like that away, but get it out of here. That's not yours. That's not your belief. You need to crumple it up in the trash. That's not yours. You are worthy of being celebrated. And this isn't just like everyone gets a participation trophy. I'm talking to my trauma survivors, my neurodivergents right now. I am proud of you. You have been through so much shit. So this isn't just everyone, but if that's you, I'm proud of you. Disabled people, people of color. People of color are a great example of an internal memories, and generations and generations and generations of trauma, and your body holds trauma. So I've always had such a respect for people of color in that way, of all nationalities, because a lot of times, especially, here in America, I mean, because white people here, I don't want to go on a racist tangent, sorry, but like, I feel like I really need to put this in here real quick. People get mad at me because things aren't like that linear, but people of color know what it's like to be fighting an invisible war. I'm careful saying that because it's not so much an invisible, because obviously we can all see it manifesting. We can see that. That's not what I mean. I just mean that there's so much more to it that nobody else except for you guys will ever understand. And I've always related in that way. And I admire, people in general, no matter what their skin color is, people that don't make that what they're worth is what people say about them, or how people treat them as less than because of something that they can't control, such as their skin color, or in my case, my neurology, or things that have happened to you. You're not a victim, but you're acknowledging that so that you can step up into your power. And you can do something about it. But until you acknowledge that happened, you're not a victim, babe. You're just like, damn, okay, that happened. I'm not going to let that happen again. Here are all the things that I'm going to do to make sure that doesn't happen again. And here are all the things that I'm going to do to make sure that other people can watch themselves. Do not let these mofos take advantage of you, because they will. So, that small child, I am proud of you. I see you trying every day. You're getting better. I see you. Your needs are important. Feel that. Some of these things sound a little generic because we hear them a lot, but you need to let it permeate. Okay? Your needs are important. Feed yourself. Exercise. Water. Sleep. Don't stay up talking to that person. Don't say, if you have a personal project that you're trying to work on and you get that text that's like, oh, is my alarm going off? Sorry. Speaking of which, that was weird. And you get that text that's like, you want to come over? You have to ignore it. And then the next day, sorry, I fell asleep. Do not let them pull you off your course. I'm guilty of that. Okay? Your needs are important. Do not compromise for other people. Your feelings are important. Some of the hardest things we go through in life are unseen. I know you feel like you need stability. Again, that small child, I know you feel like you need stability. I know you want that more than anything else. But if you've learned one lesson in your life, it should be that life is unstable. People are unstable. And not a negative connotation, but just like almost a more Buddhist, like non-attachment. You know what I mean? Or Eastern religion. I know it's not just Buddhism. People, don't come at me, please. When you're on to something like this, they love to nitpick it. So I'm just ready for it. You know? Life is unstable and people are unstable. Don't get attached. Everything's so transient. Especially in this dimension. People rot. We become worm food. Some of us swell up and pop. You know, life goes on. It's not that big of a deal. It's all unstable. It's all moving. Not in a negative way. It's just all liquid, okay? People are unstable. Things are unstable. Places are unstable. But you must adapt. Create that safe and stable place inside of you and take it wherever you go. Because that's what those ancient teachers, they taught me. They said, she is always in there. You are always holding her. You can choose to hug her anytime you want, but you are always holding her. So don't let anyone take that from you. You can create that stable and safe space inside of you. Don't let anyone take it. Guard it with your life and access it anytime you need it. You'll spend months or even years waiting for things to stabilize. In a liquid world, it's never gonna. Sometimes they don't. So in the meantime, adapt, because you are so strong. Again, that inner child, you better be visualizing them along with me. You've been applying the ability to adapt your whole life. Yeah, you've been applying the ability to adapt your whole life from a young age. You've had to, but now you can choose to. You know, we don't feel like victims here. We're not powerless anymore. It's 2025. Kali Yuga's over. We're in the age of Aquarius now. Come on, baby. Give me a woo! You feel it? My roommate's probably like, what the hell? Okay, but you can choose to. You have to step up and take care of her, him, them, that little child, okay? Take care of them. Get out of bed. Make her food. You know, again, this is to me. So make her food. Give her a bath. Let her play. Soothe her. Comfort her. She needs you now. You have the power to care for her now. You have the power to care for that child now. They didn't get what they fucking needed, and I am so sorry for that. And I'm saying this with love. I'm sorry if my tone's not landing like that. That's a problem of mine. I'm just very passionate, okay? You are compassionate. You are strong. You are maturing, so you can give that to her now, or him or them. She deserves love. She deserves to feel safe. Create that space within yourself, because that's where she lives. Fill it with love, fill it with compassion, forgiveness, and understanding. Love her. Be gentle with her. She needs you. Oh, I wrote on the back, summer 2023. I swear on my life, I have not read this since I wrote it, I don't think. Thanks for doing that with me. That was very intimate. I am sweating. I won't give you that last hug. You can rewind to the last one before I smelled like this. But yeah, lots of love. Take care. Do extra self-care. Feel free to, not for views, of course, but, go back to even your notes from this video or things like that. Do it every few months. We can be really pumped on this stuff for a little bit, and then life happens and it but that, you always need to be that parent, whether you have kids or not. So I hope this helped. Lots of love. I'll see you next time.